There it is. There it is. Thank you, Randy. Nice. All right.
Randy's secret tool is Nestle's coffee mate. This is how his magic Bowen sauce is.
Because she does like security.
You gotta let it age for about 12 years.
Yeah, she
turns gray, and then yeah. Also, please recycle. But this has not been recycled for a while. You can tell by this beautiful 1973 flesh tone crayon color. So yeah, really pretty amazing. And only 10 calories.
Only 10.
Yeah.
That's like 500.
Wait, I thought you were Randy's secret tool.
I'm his, yes, sometimes.
Yeah, so I have to go do that.
On occasion.
Yeah, they're cool. They started out being like a small company, just like replacing ATMs, then they got like Wells Fargo, and they got these other big banks.
So, Pippin, you want to know another little thing here?
All right.
So, one of my things that I'm doing
like,
on this
I gotta-
sculpt
That's why she's not
is
here.
I'm
She's
using
always
these
super
big
sad
tools
because she, like,
for, a lot of people hopefully watching are, sculptors
together.
already and they know these tricks, but for people who don't know, a lot of times what I'll do for something like this is I'll block a shape out using my big tool. And all I'm working on is this nice form. So I'm trying to get a good form. And that's when I go down to my smaller tools. And that's when the illustrator comes out. So now I'm kind of more drawing on the clay to build up the secondary details. So one thing I'm trying to do on her is build in these kind of nice little ridges to kind of make it look like armor. Or I didn't want to go to typical mermaid scales on this. I wanted something a little more fantasy based. So I'm just kind of, this is a little more my drawing style. I use a lot of curls and swirls, wavy shapes, but still there's lines that kind of go up through these designs. So once I get a shape kind of roughed out, I can go back in, and as you can see here, I'm kind of creating these little secondary shapes. I'm using the root tool to kind of dig those out. Bowen sauce.
Yeah.
I just love it. Did Bowen sauce get picked up?
It did. Yeah.
Nice.
Somebody was really stoked.
We did a podcast earlier, and I was with Toby, and we did Froud sauce. That was like a special thing. So,
All right.
but yeah, Bowen sauce is real. But yeah, so anyway, so you see, I just kind of draw these designs up here.
Nice little bag there.
But yeah, you can see how I'm kind of slowly building my textures. And then the more I do this, I'll go in and I'll kind of start doing more secondary shapes. Like if you look, look over here. Let's go actually over here. You can see where I'm starting to build up little secondary shapes where it's more fine detail work. So I've got my big overall shape. I've got a secondary kind of shape I've worked in here. And then from there, I'll start doing my detail work. And that's where I kind of get a little more anal retentive, and I bring in more of an illustrative style. And that's, every artist has their own little mark making that they like to do. So overall sculpt has to be strong, the design, but then there's that subtle fine detail, which is the mark making. And that's what kind of separates a lot of sculptors apart, is how they're texturing their surface. Some artists like to have a rough style, keep it loose, a lot of energy. Shiflett brothers, masters of that. Just going to give a little shout out to those guys. Other people, it's all about the smooth, clean line. So a lot of times rough sculpting means energy, which is very exciting. Detail work is more like, ooh, detail, wow. So it all depends on how you're approaching your sculpting, your final character and design. So, bam.
Thanks. I started with I Google searched Space Invaders, and I was looking up the pixel art, and I found one of the pixel arts from Space Invaders that I really liked.
Do my best.
Blew it up in Photoshop and did a little sketch.
Put this right here for a minute.
You're using Randy's.
And I went into ZBrush and did like a character
See?
sculpt. Just kind of a quick.
So I've always wanted, Space Invaders, the cabinet art for Space Invaders. It's those furry, like werewolf guys that have light that makes it look like spears or something.
Right.
And there's like 3 of them. There's like a black one and a
secret tip of the
Yeah, your
hour.
timer.
What's your secret tip of the day?
For the pizza.
Oh. There we go.
Always wash before you touch your clay again.
All right, kids.
Yeah.
Always wash before you touch your clay again. Toby's secret tip of the day. I'm liking that. The show's just creating itself. If you guys like this and you want to see more episodes, you know, shout out to the internet, Twitter us or whatever.
It'll be
Tweet
here
us.
all day. He'll be here all day.
We're here all day, and we're gonna make a better, more awesome show for you every single time.
Ben, this reminds me when we were on that sand sculpting team.
Oh, God.
Port Sandia.
No, that's the wrong reverse camera. Help, fix it, fix it, fix it.
Oh.
Woo, girl.
Here.
We're having technical difficulty.
I was right there.
Continue your story.
Oh yeah, no, Ben, when we did that Port Sandia thing, you were a hoot. That's how we won that competition.
Oh yeah, we got first place.
We got first place. We won the sand sculpting competition.
What's Port Sandia?
Port Sandia was mine and Ben, and I think there was like 14 other sculptors on the team for this big sand sculpting competition we did one summer.
Yeah, I sculpted Jake the alligator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had 15 people help me stop the ocean.
Yeah, I remember that. That's what won the competition. You were the hype man.
I was the hype man.
You were the hype man.
Everybody form a human wall. We're gonna stop the ocean.
Dude, you're such the hype man there, dude.
It
All you needed
happens.
was a boombox,
It
dude.
happens. So good.
Hype man. No, good.
Good times.
We got some medals out of it, or t-shirts.
We got
We didn't do hardware. We got t-shirts.
t-shirts and we got $100, right?
Did we get them? It's been a long time.
I don't work for free.
You got free hotel.
Question was, are these videos rewatchable later? Yes, I believe.
I shared mine. Just make sure that when that gets quit, to share it.
They stay up on Sculpting Brothers.
It should stay on the forum.
Rewatch, we're all nude.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've put in an app so that everyone appears clothed.
What's that one? After girls use code word.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to find a bunch of references
Yeah.
of Froud that exist today, so it's not in great condition.
But it's still
Amazing
pictures.
Oh yes, what were you saying?
So I can like match up all the veins.
The side cabinet art. It's like these three weird like werewolf movies that are all the same. Those cabinets were airbrushed. They weren't silkscreen. They were actually sprayed out.
What are you working on right now?
I'm trying to make a holster for her little rig. So
Yeah, and they did
found parts,
arcade or,
made her gun.
games too.
Found parts. Where from?
Oh, everywhere. I disassemble a lot of electronics and find the little bits and pieces, and then I'm pretty sure that's a Mardi Gras bead and a bolt and a piece off of an old alarm clock. So, and a little bit of epoxy to hold everything together.
All right. Any digital sculptors in the house? We have one working right here. Brilliant. What are you building? Could you remind everybody?
I'm working on a new system. This is an example here of the kind of stuff that I play with. These are all fabricated in my machine shop.
Okay.
So I'm setting up a new variant that's going to be cast in my foundry.
All right.
Working with new throughput where I'm catting parts up, 3D printing them on my SLA printer, and then casting the lost wax casting in brass. So,
How many steps is that, do you think, total?
oodles.
Oodles. Oodles.
It's a big process, and I'm still working out the kinks.
Okay. We will come back and see how this changes, because a lot has changed in the last hour.
Well, good. Doesn't seem like it on my end.
Oh, it has on ours. Whoever just asked, Randy's also hugging.
See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Alex, Bubb.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Alex is taking off. He's awesome.
Have
He's
fun
good.
storming the castle.
Randy, question for you. Are you going to work or just mill around?
Wow. Ouch.
This is a customer question.
Can we do name call?
Yeah, let's call them right on out. Oh, they're lucky. That was several questions ago.
Several people, actually.
Wait, what's that say? Primer sculpting. We're going to sculpt. Oh, it's Quentin. Oh, dude. Yes.
It is.
Hey, Quentin, are you still coming to Portland for your mancation?
All right. I'm going to. It's going to be a stationary camera because it looks like it's snack time for everybody. So I need to hide the snacks as best as possible. Let's see. Snack. You have a big snack thing there. Whose is this?
Randy Bowen's.
May I?
Please.
I'm just gonna here.
Oh, yes.
If Randy Bowen was Australian, how would be his coffee mate?
Wow. And the evening has reached a new low.
Now we go to a commercial break. Alright then, what's the pun of the day? People in Australia just tune out. Yeah, screw mermaid guy. Mermaid guy is dead. He's not part of my world. Randy, Toby, you get everything though.
What's nice, Toby's got some nice lighting going on that sculpture. It looks like a Bernie Wrightson drawing.
That was one of the comments. It's like, apparently I sat in the best lighting. Yeah, I didn't know that. I was like,
Hey, I helped you with your chair.
so you knew.
Do any of you guys remember the movie Tough Turf in the 80s?
Remember the movie? No, go
James Spader
Okay.
and the girl from the original Witch Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yeah you remember?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
But I know which mountain.
YouTube has a bunch of free movies that you can watch. And so while I'm sculpting at nighttime, because I work nights, so I'm up all night long. And so on my days off, I'll be sculpting and I'll just put on the free movies on YouTube. That was one of the movies I was watching.
You're not secretly working for YouTube, are you?
So, I'm sure they pay better than Amazon.
Was that
It's
like
like
an
a-
80s style
one of
LA gang?
What do they call it when they put a can of Coca-Cola in a scene? It's like product placement. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at 80s reference right now. 80s fashion reference, and it made me think of that.
Ah, Tough Turf. Yes.
It's good.
Basically little sculpts or something inside. Do all my own mixes. Just to really people.
Not yet.
I'm sure that's what they're trying out. Then in the last 3 years, I think at least.
That was probably it. That's the girl from Witch Mountain was the
Oh, you know, you can use whatever, but the easiest thing to do is to go get the shredded paper installation at like any, it's like $14 for like an 8-day outside, it'll last you.
You know, I was kind of hating this at first, but it's interesting. Kind of feels like sculpting.
No, because it gets, really have.
I've never worked with it
Like this. If you mix it right, it gets incredibly smooth. You can
Like, you really dig in and rough out
make an impression
details. Hopefully I can go back with a brush and some water to smooth it all out.
So this is.
Yeah, I let it sit for a long time.
Well,
That's what's underneath.
it's leathery.
Yeah, I've never worked with it at this point, and I'm kind of, it's a learning curve, but
There's some good knowledge being shared over here, so I'm gonna sneak in.
That's basically the straight when you want to add all the paper pulp, which is what these mixes are.
Okay.
This is a different one that's wood glue and I'm blanking out. Cornstarch.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there are a bunch of different mixes with this stuff. It's really strong. You can mix it amazingly strong. There are no cooking versions, but there are cooking versions as well. And they're really much better. You can get to a very creamy consistency, almost like sushi stuff. It's got a lot of similarities to that. I don't mix it that loose or that soft because there's a lot of shrinkage with the material already. Which is why I'm doing this mix, which is basically a very loose cold porcelain with paper fiber in it. It's
So you go strip first and then fiber.
Yeah, exactly. And it adheres very well to itself. There is a pretty fair amount of distinction if you're trying to keep an exact surface or something like that. There's usually a little bit of warpage. It's organic wise, it's great stuff for that.
And drying time.
What it's really, really good for, there's a trick you can do with the mix, and you mix it very watery. So if you want to do something that's like dry and desiccated,
That crackles a lot.
it doesn't crackle. It just gets a way more twisted texture because the paper fibers start drying and shielding. The denser you mix it, the more even it'll wind down. You can sand it, drill it, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty strong stuff. But there's a lot of variety in the mixes.
You probably scroll
That's kind of
the
the
light
part about it. Is that
Yeah, it's a lot easier to see now.
and you can be working on something.
I spent about 2 hours on little veins here, so that's how I know I'm not an experienced
You
sculptor.
actually just take a bit like
But
this,
it's
and
coming
roll
along.
around.
Oh, looks pretty good to me.
It turns into a really dense, much more clay-like
But does it taste good?
material, and it dries.
Yes, we have a question from the audience, but does it taste good?
That is the litmus test.
Don't eat the clay.
Yes, and sneaking in behind you are
You don't have to mold
is the
anything.
secret bunnies in the background.
What do you guys do like when they like
Mr. Gorby has a lot of animals, I tell you what.
people are tagging stuff or they'll put up banners.
Ooh, that's looking good. Could you remind us what you're baking?
Tripod.
Yeah.
Boil down.
Yeah.
Starch. It's kind of the main component.
I think it's potato starch.
Potato starch.
Yeah.
You know what would be wicked crazy on that, Sam?
Yeah.
If you went in, because right now there's no real visible
The thing is, you can pretty much
so-called muscular structure or way to move the legs, but if you came in and added little pinions, wheels, and pulleys and what have you, you could look at like it's an actual.
One of the things I was thinking about doing was adding on, at the very least, for the outside of it, to add sort of like not with aluminum, but
on the flour.
like a
Because what it does is it
parallel bar, maybe thinner than this.
it's fine for the paper.
Like a hydraulic system type thing, or just to visually beefing it up?
Just to visually beef it up.
So that you press it
Yeah,
into
I
Parallel bar.
and you lose.
But then I was thinking, what would happen if you had some kind of like slide catch that you could then use to position the legs or.
Well, even just adding 2 of those on either side would give you some visual throughput. It would
Yeah,
beef it up
and
visually, but
that's what I wanted, like one on this side, one on the
and
other,
have it stand off,
Yeah.
an inch or whatever.
just to kind of bridge those gaps.
Yeah, I think that'd be a compelling design. But if you went through with small wheels and had thin wire like a pulley effect,
Yeah.
it could be really interesting as a.
Yeah.
Wearing something.
I was considering also doing, I mean, if there was more time, more bits that looked like they were connectors and
Oh yeah, yeah.
drop
you should
wires,
definitely
other
seal
things like that.
whatever
But, I'm only a short period into this, so.
You gotta be done by what? 2 hours?
Yeah. Wait for me to break out the torch.
How many hours into this are you?
Okay, so when did we say that this was gonna happen?
A couple weeks.
A month ago? Okay. So it's been like 2 hours after work, sort of every day since then. So not every day. Let's just say
Give it to you for Christmas, but we just our paths didn't cross. But
maybe 20 hours?
thing was, I was kind of disappointed.
Maybe 20 hours?
So this is 20 hours.
I can't even count that high.
Yeah, most of us don't know how to count.
For mortal,
Most
that's
of us.
3 months in mortal hours.
Yes. Do you sense time differently than
Yeah,
most?
it's like Sam lives on like anti-dog years. So like, this is about 20 minutes for me. So, obviously, I've been working on my mermaid for 15
yes.
years.
Yes.
That's yeah, you get the idea.
Okay. I will subtly pan over to the mermaid in just a moment.
Make me feel really
Charles is in the corner,
Nobody
trying
puts
to
Charles
hide.
in the corner. That's the only place his beard would fit.
How we doing?
It was a nice quiet library corner, a little like
Yeah, and then I showed up.
density to it. And
well,
so
you
can
know,
do some really
just
fine
mushing things around until we get something.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's
Okay.
It's almost like Sculpting.
I am not 20 hours in. I am exactly hour and 45 minutes in.
Interesting. That's when we started today.
most paper mache mixes because it just
What did you start with as an armature?
The armature was simply this block of MDF that I had laying around that I drilled a couple holes in and wrapped the wire through, and it is just some aluminum wire in there. And the only reason for that is to keep it from falling off when I'm holding onto the block.
Oh, okay.
But it's really not providing any structure.
Okay.
It's just kind of mostly to hold it to the block.
Is that since it's smaller in
Yeah,
scale?
if I was doing something larger, I'd probably have something with a little more structural. I think Randy has something going up a little further, for example. But,
Empty glass bottle is. And for those of you watching, this is Anya. I can't answer questions in type just now, but I'll try and catch them as you type them. All right. Oh, of course it goes quiet the second I walk over here. Yeah. Okay, we're going to watch the opposite of most surgeries.
Yes, this is my little monster. I make the hand separate with no armature, just because for monsters it's easier, faster.
You can just
And
like that from all in.
yeah, just kind of detail it out a little bit.
We could probably make
And then I'm cutting it off. And I'm putting a little hole inside of the clay because I have a piece of armature wire sticking out here. And I just insert it like that. Instead of having to, it's just easier to do this than to try to sculpt the fingers on the piece. Sometimes you can just rotate it easier.
Do you have armature wire in the fingers?
No. My entire hand has no armature wire.
And it all started as this. Keep looking. Okay. I don't know if you guys have seen, but everyone here has really cool looking future glasses. I'm hoping they start wearing them soon. Randy, is that Sculpey or hard wax? No, Sculpey hard or wax?
It's just gray super sculpting.
Gray Super Sculpey, in case that didn't come out in the audio. Some Gorby art over here.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I kind of got down a little bit. And I did like a little monkey. I was thinking we could just go the full aluminum like that. Long fingers, and I go like since there's not to them, there'd be like that much like curvature. Some kids were like, "Do you want a picture of this?" And they're like, "Yeah."
Oh yeah, I love the kids.
Yeah, that was
Very cool.
Yeah, thanks for the tips. Thanks for the tips.
Yeah.
You know, apparently there's some sort of company that
Probably along the way, where they probably see it later or spend money on buying that.
All right, so we have the $10 million question. I don't know what exchange rate is anymore. What's everyone's biggest design influence if you had to pick one? You are first. This is Derek.
My design influence?
Your favorite, biggest design influence.
I don't know. That's such a huge. That's a big one. Well, here,
Yep, sorry. Sophie's choice.
Kevin picked the theme.
Yes.
This time, and so I always have a tendency to go pin up anyway or horror. And so once he gave us the theme, I went and looked through all of the old 1950s space movie posters and magazines, and they all had the pinup girl with the bubble helmet and the ray guns. So I decided that was just going to match with.
Are you able to show us what the bubble helmet might look like, or is that too dangerous?
Might look like a little bit like this. Whoop, let's get it.
I know it's delicate, so.
Come on, get in there. There we go. So,
Ooh,
kind of,
yeah.
sorta, like that. And then we'll put her little jetpack on, which clicks into the back here.
Ooh.
To help give it that finished look.
Oh, that's great.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right. Toby, you're up next.
Influences. Well, okay, let's go influences with this. Certainly from 1980s movies like, or 1990s, sorry, Pumpkinhead, different, Stan Winston, different movies, creatures like that. It's always a wonderful thing for me is to try to do creatures. But also, the thought behind this would be, if this was a B-movie monster, his mouth wouldn't move. The guy would see through these holes here, and he would be walking into walls trying to get the good guys. So that's the sort of feeling.
So you're being practical about it.
Absolutely. Always trying to figure out where the human inside would see out.
Kevin, you want to say what I think we all might know what your biggest influences are, but.
Well, I love apes. I love Planet of the Apes. I also love Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, so I guess I'm just kind of mashing it all together. Lately I've just been trying to stick to specific themes. Apes is one of them. If I keep jumping around to different things, I don't think I'll ever get good at one thing, so I'm sticking with apes.
All right. I think you had said nuclear, atomic style, that's what it was.
Oh, atomic style, yeah. So, I guess I'm pretending maybe Flash Gordon or Buck Rogers had a sidekick at some point, and it'd be Astro, the Astro chimp.
Of course, named after anybody?
Yes, and my youngest son is named Astro, so maybe I'll finish this and dedicate it to him and put it in his room.
Ooh.
You know those kind of Aboriginal dudes that you would sculpt?
All right. If you have any specific influences you would like to talk about?
For this particular piece,
just
kind of 50s. I was looking at the 50s, 80s retro posters, but in general, I think my favorite artists of all time would be Frazetta and Rodin, and I really admire with Rodin the kind of loose weight of the pieces that he made, just the raw power of that kind of loose style, which I've never been able to emulate.
I was wondering if any of that came out in this.
No, it doesn't come out in my work. I love it, and I would like to be able to do it, but it just doesn't work.
Next time.
Yeah. For Zed, I always love like the creatures, the hot girl and monsters combination.
Which looks exactly like. I don't know if that monster got attention before, but she has slain it.
Yeah, he's dead.
And then there's this little guy over here that we're not going to talk about. He's in timeout.
I'm going to get to him at some point.
Okay, ambitious.
Champagne beers. He is from Space Invaders, so I looked up Space Invaders pixel art, and I found one that I really like, and they're all front view, the Space Invaders pixel art. So I blew one of those pixel art things up, did a character sketch, which I don't have with me, but so I did a character sketch, and then I took that into ZBrush, and I did a quick ZBrush rough out, which, maybe I'll go post that online.
Definitely.
So people can see the progression. And I'm going to detail this thing out. It's going to be, super high detail monster. It's going to be kind of like a muscly biomechanical suit thing. There's some eyeballs or brain inside the...
Yeah. Right now it's just suggested light reflection eyeballs. Probably won't look that goofy in real life.
Way, it turns into a pupil.
we'll have to keep track of that. And for anyone watching, I know the audio is a little poor, but we will be posting relative links afterwards, so keep that in mind.
Instagram, sci-fi_sculptor. My website is jeremypelletier.com.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to type all those out at the end, too.
How many people do we have watching?
3 plus...
Randy's mom.
3 plus 80.
The person that called me roommate guy.
Mm-hmm. I think that's it. You literally made the viewer drop. It just went down 6 for no reason.
Wow.
It's this guy's fault here.
Oh my god.
His name's Ben.
Does it keep dropping every time you put his face on screen?
Let me try. Here's a fireplace. That's a TV.
And we're up 7, guys. Fireplace.
No. We have a positive. If you're just tuning in, please tune in more. Thank you.
Is there anything specific they want to see?
They have general just inspiration questions, getting started questions. I'm seeing a lot. Like, for example, does sculpting life size for movie props require a specific skill set?
Ooh, I mean...
I hear a yes from the other table. Do you want?
I feel like you have to... I was going to have a joke
answer. We have a joke answer from the other table. What were you saying, Kevin?
I feel like you naturally have to be somewhat good at proportions and dimensional thinking. I don't think that's something you can... Yeah, spatial awareness. I don't think that's something you can learn. Like, if you're not good at that, I think you're going to have a hard time doing props or... sculpting in general.
I'm assuming it differs depending on if a human's going to be in it or not.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And then I usually give, depending on the person can kick my
Okay.
Because we're mostly doing decorative sculpting. We're not doing sculpting that has to perform.
Could you say that again?
We're just doing decorative sculpting. This has to do nothing other than be a thing that looks like something.
Okay.
When you're sculpting like a prop or something that has to move, that's engineering.
Or a puppet. We all sculpt puppets in different ways, and you always have to sculpt for a puppet in a different way. It's more technical because you actually have to think on the inside and out against special
Okay.
Well, and you have to keep in mind all the pieces that are moving. Like if the mouth is moving, whether it's animatronic that has hand motion, I mean, it's all sculpted completely different. So.
Do you have to sculpt thinking about animatronics being put inside along with a human?
Well, it depends if it's going to be
Toby
a puppet or if it's going to be worn.
Yeah, that's fair. Sorry to get in your face, y'all. The microphone has to be right here.
No, but it's true. You have to have that awareness of what's going to happen inside and what the character is and how it's going to move to be able to create anything. In terms of like Ben said, this is decorative sculpting, which is really freeing.
Oh yeah,
when you don't have to consider this for anything else, you can just create a character in a moment and give the viewer something fun to look at.
All right.
And that is a big difference between being somebody who produces sculptures and reproduces them versus somebody that is making it for a film or a TV show or a puppet performance live or whatever. It's a totally different set of rules. You're still sculpting, but it's a whole nother set of tools that you have to do to make it perform, function, be able to be built, be able to be replicated. You're working on a big series. A lot of times you're making something and then you're making 25 of them. So that's a whole nother thing. You've got to get molds and casting and
it's a bit more industrial.
Yeah, so a lot of us have backgrounds in both of these things. Right now we're just having fun.
Yeah. I want to zoom in on this one because
And if you go to that table over there,
yes.
you're going to say something completely different.
Oh yes, let's hear.
That's the big kids table.
Yeah. This is the 15 and under table. Let's go. Else maybe. All right, I think. All right, I believe Randy, you had a really insightful answer.
What's the question?
I don't know.
Hey, Randy, sculpted. How do you do it?
Hey, sculpting. Here's what you do. See? You get some clay, right? Get the clay. You smoosh it around a little.
Smush, is that Yiddish?
Smush, a little push, a little pull. You can subtract. Sam seems to like subtraction. So we subtract until it looks like something, and you're done.
Boom.
Bada boom.
Bada bing. Who needs university when you have this?
Did anybody here go to art school?
No, not even close.
Anybody? Is there?
Oh, that's a great question.
I did not go to art school. Actually, I went to school for language, for linguistics.
I feel stupid now.
Swapped it over.
Shot is the only one that went to art school.
Oh, we have
Art school.
Little kids school, art school dropout though.
Oh,
good.
how do you?
I went
All
I
right.
got a degree in computer graphics.
Ah, yes.
But no one really was teaching art, and it was the first program in the United States in computer graphics at the time. So it was in its infancy.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So for those currently taking graphic design classes, they can know that there is a career out there for woodworking.
yeah. I'm not using any of it other than a little bit of previz.
Oh, yeah.
No, my career evaporated after 9/11.
Oh, it's getting real.
Yeah,
Turn the
Silicon
camera.
Valley collapsed after the bombing, and my whole office was shut down. So,
Where were you working?
San Jose, California, yeah. Silicon
Oh.
Valley. So,
Dang.
yeah, it's all sorts of exciting.
I might have to dig into that more. But that's when we get to the bummer section of the feed. We can't, we just had a crazy weird impression. We have to space it out. All right.
What's up, everyone? What the heck are you guys doing? I know what everybody else here is doing.
Yeah.
Let's see what you're up to.
There's a bit of a delay. All right, someone asked, do you sometimes get inspired by random everyday objects? Like, this could be a cool character, etc.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. What always happens with me is I see something out of the corner of my eye and I think, oh man, that's cool. And then I actually go and look at it and it wasn't at all what I thought it was. And like, mental note. Yeah, that's how it happens for me.
Yeah, what I get is looking at shapes. You know, I'll be like in Target or whatever, and you know, there'll be a weird lawnmower section. I'll think, you know, if I use that as a dome of a head, it would be really weird. One of the things that I have to do for myself, because I've been making creations way too long, is that I have to trick myself to break my own habits. So that's why I look for weird forms that force me to do things differently than I normally would, that give me a base starting point that I have to change my ways. But yeah, so when you see me in the streets and I'm like staring at the fire hydrant, you'll know what's going on.
Just think of a dog and then you go.
So this is what results from staring at fire hydrants. You're in the shadows over here still. There are some people who are sculpting along.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier. That's great.
But again, that'll be molded and cast in brass is kind of the idea.
That's awesome.
So, but just trying to increase the surface detail.
Very cool.
In ways that I can machine this on my machine shop would be a freaking nightmare, as you know, with your background. So
Yeah, these ribbing would be
the
awesome.
ribbing would be a challenge. You have to come in here and slot it.
Yeah.
You know, 16-inch
I mean, if you had a
mill
CNC mill, you could.
But I don't. I have to do it manually. So yeah, I don't want to try it. So.
What do you guys do now?
Brass.
Is brass the only metal?
I like brass because it's very easy to machine. It is a very bright metal and it doesn't rust, so the oxidation can be controlled. And also, I love the palette, the color tones, and the way you can easily tune it and get real true color patinations. And I can also braze the gluing things together with soldering and silver wires is very easy to do. So you can take multiple sub-assemblies and combine them with things. And that's very, very difficult to do in ferrous materials as well as aluminum. So I can also, the plan with this is I can go in and do cast parts, do billet machine parts, and raise them together and do multiple machining operations in addition to, and when I'm done, have parts that look like they're all fabricated as one piece. It's also really easy. I can also do really compound forms on a wood lathe when the machine brass. You can do that to some extent when you're doing
No kidding. Interior is hard
Women's spacesuits, but also interior perspective shots.
And do irons, all the furnaces, styles, and the color palette. Yeah, it doesn't have like these like screws, like in here. So that's the right Z plate with the screws. Right.
Yeah, brass always looks so great.
Do you want to be camera?
And that's where I want
Do you think they want to see my Buck Rogers truck?
Yes. Does anyone want to see Kevin Gorby's Buck Rogers truck? That's going to come out way incorrect.
Right.
Let's take a trip. Yep. Don't. Oh wow. He just okay. What? Hide the knife, quick. All right. BRB, y'all. BRB.
My big project I'm working on right now is
Totes.
I'm building a Buck Rogers truck. Right now, I had a big project in here, so I had to kind of pack everything in the corner. So it's a 1959 Volkswagen single cab, and it'll be fully decked out and painted and themed after Buck Rogers. So that's the big project right now. I'm hoping to have it done by this summer. And then it'll all be electric, so it'll be futuristic as well.
Can you walk us through that? What is it looking like Buck Rogers mean?
All right, so Buck Rogers, basically like a 50s atomic era. We're gonna have, I'm doing a custom dome light up here that will actually, it'll come out sort of like, I guess a ray gun. If you look at the old ray guns, how they have like 3 rows of fins and then a bulb at the end. So it'll have a light that illuminates with that coming out the top. And then we're gonna have, it'll look like a service truck. So on these panels, it'll say like ray guns, jetpacks, I'll come up with some other stuff. But it'll look like a service truck from something like if Buck Rogers was a real,
Are you incorporating that foam in, or is that just storage?
It's
Oh.
I'm packing it up right now. But yeah, hopefully by this summer. And then it's all being painted, so it's I'm trying to make it look like it's not a new paint job. It's just held up really well over the years. The safari windows, so these all open up.
Ooh.
The bumpers will, everything will be chromed, and I'll be adding a chrome kit to the entire thing.
All right. Will you be posting this online anywhere?
Oh yeah.
All right. We'll be sharing links to people's social media at the end. So make sure to check those out. That's cool.
So that's the big project.
That's the big project?
One of the big ones. I've got a lot more other projects.
Yes.
A lot of Volkswagen.
There are several Volkswagens in this environment. All right.
Did you come up with a good name for the segment, Kevin's Garage?
No idea.
Do you have any?
Gorby's Garage Time.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
We had the Toby's tip of the day. Garage Time with Gorby.
Yeah. What about yours?
I have for years.
That's all we need to know. I'm setting the phone. Ben's bad jokes. All right, you guys are closer to the microphone, so good luck.
I'm like an 8-timer. It's like jackass every 3 balls.
But it is perfect, jackass.
Yeah, right.
It's sort of, it's not hard plastic.
Ben Adams, he's a lot like an 8-timer.
I thought it was
Every
hard
3 minutes.
I was trying to drill into it.
That's not
Like trying to drill into a super ball.
Well, thanks, buddy. A little sculptor's intimidation. Actually, I'm not going to suck you around. How's it going, man? How's your computer file going? Do you have keyboard on your mouse?
That'd be amazing if you you actually picked out that? You would.
I think I'm being subtly mocked.
I think I've got some R under here. I've got some R under my fingernail. I've got some Alt D under my fingernail.
Sorry.
Jeremy, what's your plan for that girl out here?
I'm just kind of picking this up.
Really? Yeah. Wow. If you did a kit of that, I thought it was very popular.
I'm not usually when I make a kit, I have that in mind from the beginning. So I'm planning out how my sculptors, how the undercuts are going to go, and during this one, I'm not giving it any thought whatsoever.
That's like 12 hours. That's amazing. I love it.
Gorby approved.
Because I don't look bad blowing my shirt off yet.
You're being too modest.
I'm trying to make a boob job.
I look like I have multiples of that figure all over my body. Pointing in different directions.
Right. At first I didn't know you were talking about your stuff. I was like, hey, what are you going to do with that girl you've done? I was like, whoa.
Yeah, don't just toss her.
This is a broadcast.
All of the old school Hollywood gorilla guys were pretty much out of the game. Does George make his own suit? Yeah, he did. Said he did. And I think
Pretty much everyone is tuned out at this point. This camera's just gently pointing at us.
Unless we talk about the thing that is there, I don't think it really is an idea. At the same time,
I have a small one. I take to my wife. She looked at it.
Oh, you're gonna bring it home?
She goes, yes.
Somebody was like, I just turned this off for 20 minutes. Amazing.
I never, I think a combination of makeup from Planet. That's what this is from Wonder Woman.
Oh, God, I know that. What do you think, right?
Oh, it's like 15 years? Or you didn't mind it? Look at this. I didn't hear it. I've been here 3 hours.
It was so.
It is intimidating when you're this big. It burned in my face.
Yeah, so that like just weird.
I don't usually do
Crazy lives making around.
Yeah.
I like that you
this little.
Wow.
And like you were saying, this is all, you know, like all these things. Sometimes I'll do
they refitted
really weird. And I'll literally just take my fingers and kind of
very possible.
Does this stuff
oh yeah, all oil-based clay. Yeah.
It's not as big of a difference as Toby or Monster Clay.
What do you mean with Sculpting?
Well, like Monster Clay's a huge difference.
Monster Clay goes from like portable to plastic.
Right, but that's more like wax than
Right, it's very waxy.
But Sculpting is Sculpting. You can't really warm it up and work on it.
Well, Sculpting gets easier to work smoothly.
Yeah. Right.
I'll use, and then if it gets too cold, it's almost like smooth it down. See where I'm at. It's like the molecules get arranged in a finish, and then if it gets too cold,
It is cool.
it breaks like
final piece.
it's like
So you're saying Sculpting is more temperature? Yeah, I got you. Not like direct heat, but if it's generally cold, it's hard to exercise.
it is harder.
I mean, because what you do with Sculpting is, even though it's doing Innsmouth stuff.
That's true. Innsmouth, Innsmouth, we were all working on stuff.
When it gets old,
yeah,
some of the wet bits seem to
That's the
evaporate.
first time I came by.
Right, and that's when it gets hard. It starts
that
to be
was
crackly and brittle.
Mine's in the
And
corner.
that's why you gotta use the soft edge.
When you break an old piece of Sculpting, it breaks like a rock.
Yeah.
It's got there's a kind of a shear pattern.
Yeah.
You know, it breaks in a certain direction like a grain almost.
Right.
That doesn't happen with oil-based clay.
Yeah, exactly.
Still marble in the talents.
True that.
I gotta look and see who's watching after this. I got a few heroes in the group.
I thought we were your heroes. You mean hero viewers?
Like Tom Keebler, I love his work.
Oh, is he on?
I hope so.
Hi Tom, if you're watching.
Where's
I'd love to meet you someday.
Every time he throws a piece up on eBay, I try, but it's
Not worthy.
I'm not worthy.
He's like slop.
You're taking a big task and just crap.
Terrible lighting.
Terrible lighting, a lot of distractions.
Talking smack about it. Shut up, yo. Terrible lighting. Terrible lighting.
Assholes over there.
My phone's awesome. I'm into all this.
It is, I love the sliding door.
That's always my favorite.
Yeah. Wait, so much. I had to reinforce the wall. I first put it up, and it tore out the entire back end of that wall. So, like, it was already all opened up. So if you go on the other side, you see a big hole that's been patched, and I had to reinforce it with a ton of 2x4s.
I don't even have the courage for it to play.
Sounds like they don't have courage. I don't have courage.
Well,
Josh, you should start with Play-Doh. Because you don't expect yourself to be good with Play-Doh.
Ouch.
you know,
You're more of a Play-Doh kind
No,
of guy.
seriously. If
that was nice.
No, he said he wasn't afraid
All right.
of something.
That's what we all do. We all use Play-Doh for one thing. Let's see how that goes.
Anyone out there in the internet world, if you're afraid of sculpting, start with something that's safe for 3 and up. That's a good place to start. If you're a digital sculptor and you don't realize
Don't
it,
eat it.
someday. It's like, yeah, that guy hates digital sculpting. No, I'm just not smart enough to do it.
With some clay. My grandmother used horrible.
Oh, he did a sculpt at sculpting class. It was great. He had the weird pipe sticking out of it. You did that one? He's just Josh.
Oh, you want silicone? Hold on. Helena?
Oh, yeah.
Yours is on here. Look.
See, the thing with sculpting too is a lot of people think sculpting is clay.
Yeah.
It's not.
You can sculpt wood.
Sculpting is.
Where do you guys fall on like the craftsman versus conceptual divide? What do you mean?
Yeah.
So like modern art sculptors are making stuff abstract.
You mean a banana taped to the wall?
Right, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Could you re-ask that again? That's a good point.
I was just asking, where do you fall on the conceptual sculpture versus craftsman sculpture?
Is that a serious
What
thing?
do you consider craftsman sculpture?
Do to try and get
Well,
So,
like when I think of a sculptor, I think of like a Rodin or a Bernini, where they've spent years mastering their craft,
so I don't know
learning their materials, and becoming great at producing something that is recognizable and objectively beautiful, as opposed to like the banana taped to the wall.
Why did you gesture toward Toby when you said that?
The banana is obviously a banana.
Yeah, clearly.
Banana on the wall. No, I thought you meant banana on the wall.
He mentioned the banana on
Ah,
the wall
okay.
when I was trying to explain.
Okay.
See, that's different. I think that's more the difference between like artist is a big term because there's visual arts, there's the performance arts, there's martial arts, there's lots of culinary arts. Life is art. Come on. Art is the most. Art is the most important job in the world. Every job in the world is touched by art.
He's rolling.
It is. You can name one job, and I will tell you how an artist had to help that person do their job. If you're wearing clothes, your clothes were designed by an artist. They were made by an artist.
Yeah, but those are some skilled craftspeople who have studied their art for years.
True. But I think a banana on the wall isn't necessarily talking about that. To me, that's not sculpture. That's just an artist.
It's marketing to me.
There's traditional definitions of what craft
It's social commentary.
Yeah.
But why is someone who's
something that's made for practical use?
It's kind of nice to be able to.
They can have it ornament that's made
We're talking
for
religion, basically.
Yeah.
yeah, where art is made for adornment and for the sake of beauty in itself. So that's always been traditionally the difference between the two.
right? So if someone is saying that they're an artist, they should have studied a craft for years, probably.
That's very Renaissance of you.
They should be good.
All right. At least 2 days.
2 days.
If you studied it for 2 days,
Community college.
you're fine.
All right.
Maybe looked it up on YouTube.
I mean, I've seen people sit down and work some clay for the very first time in their life, never done any art,
Oh, yeah.
and they actually come up with something that's incredible. Like, I don't
Absolutely.
think.
No, you don't have to.
School's overrated, kids. Drop
You don't
out.
have to
Spend that money on
What?
on materials. Yeah, I always okay. Here's a good thing. A lot of parents are always asking me, what do I do to get my kids? They like art. How can I help them? My first thing is give them art supplies.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Give them a pencil, give them paper, give them clay, give them paint, give them tools, and let them play. And I think what you're saying is when you want to become a professional or you want to start honing those skills, that's when you go into an institution and you learn the craft and you study it. But
Yeah, I totally agree with
creating art,
give
giving
them
them
materials and let them play. I think that's the most important thing for making art. But I also
there's a
think
big
that
difference between
studying,
This looks fancy.
yeah, I think that to create art, I'm bothered by the fact that some guy who glues a bunch of garbage together and says that there's a concept behind it is selling his art for millions of dollars, where people who spend a lifetime studying and perfecting their ability to create something are,
But
not recognized.
Would you agree that some artists, their point is to create controversy and buzz and have people like us talking in rooms millions of miles away talking about what they did? That's a success.
I'm sure.
It's a success in the way that they're making a lot of money.
So in that idea, is the banana on the wall of art, or is the performance of
Right.
Well, that's
Can
why
we
it's
put it in the banana?
yeah.
Well,
The whole thing was a big performance piece to get the reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
But then it comes down to a difference of, a lot of people could be artists,
Right.
but the talent is something different. Because you can glue a banana on the wall, and if you can talk your way out of it, you can earn a fortune.
It's marketing.
But in
That's
other,
marketing, right?
but-
But you can not everyone can sculpt the banana on the wall,
Right.
and make you believe it.
Exactly. Yeah.
but if you went to say
But I think a lot of the high art right now is more marketing sometimes.
Yeah.
Than
And
craftsmanship. But that's marketing. And so
Always has been that.
yeah.
But that wouldn't fly in any other art form. Like, say you go to the ballet and you pay $50 for your ballet ticket, and you go in there and some schmo off the street comes in and starts screaming at the top of their lungs and jumping up and down, and then the show is over.
I saw that show. It was cool. And I paid $75 to get in.
No, that's true though. That is very true. Because if the ballet was no good, you wouldn't see it. That's.
But with visual art,
spend a lifetime training. Breaking themselves.
with visual art, it's almost like people are trying to find the ugliest thing they can find and explain why it's awesome, and then that artist makes a whole bunch of money.
But I've also heard recently, and this is directly probably off Netflix, but there's a really famous dance choreographer, and his big thing was, he was saying, interpretive dance isn't necessarily what the dancer is interpreting themselves, but it's when you're watching it, what do you interpret? It's up to the viewer.
Would you say that takes years of skill to learn, however?
I'm saying it's a different perspective.
You say no.
It's all
Come on, I'm going to the other.
Intelligent with your mustache.
Yes.
Just saying.
Can you make a good segue so I can go to the other table? Point something out at the other table. With your hand, like literally pour. Oh. Hey guys. Hey, they're having some deep talks about what is art over there. How are y'all doing?
Just drinking beer, not talking philosophy.
That's why
It's all right.
there in the first 2 weeks of the production, because that's when he was falling.
All right.
Yeah, I did not see anybody get hurt. And nor did the fly rate have a emergency stop during mid-show, which was common. And then the performers playing Green Goblin and Spider-Man would be hanging there over the audience until things could be reset. The show that I watched actually went flawless.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good rebuttal, though, Ben.
Oh, thank you.
That was good. I like that.
You know, I'm not saying like who doesn't enjoy it.
A good wank.
Doesn't enjoy a good bunch of fine art.
This feed is rated PG-13.
But how is the fine art different than an illustration? If you're trying to sell it, you're still ending up in the same place.
But you're selling it as its own piece. You're not trying to sell somebody. You're not using that piece of art to sell something else, which is kind of like in her mind pouring out the art.
But illustration is always that. That's only an advertisement. So.
Oh, I know that. But this girl was like, no, you did a piece of art to sell a car, and so that's like prostitution. It's prostituting. You're pitching your art.
Is a group show a simple death then?
Depends on if it's a happy ending. Wow. Viewer.
Yeah, right.
Okay, what's our viewer count here? Oh, we're up. Thumbs up, guys. All right. We know our crowd now.
Oh, but Kettman stated he never finished anything.
Oh.
He's got 4 kids, so
He finishes.
I finished 20 and I finished everywhere.
I think we're back. I think we're back. Let me try. I'm not sure.
selling it or doing something like do money off it. There was always that like, guys are awesome. It's not valid. It was always not valid. But there's a part of me now as an adult where I'm just like, as much as
All right, we're back on here, I think, possibly.
valid or think it takes a skill, there's still a genius in the fact that they did that and got somebody else to bite on it. It's like making a fishing lure. You're trying to fake a fish out and make it think that it's eating a nice meal, and then you get to eat that fish later. Skill is the craft. So if there's 2 fishermen on the shore, one guy makes a fake fish and he catches it and he's eating that night, and you're sitting there
Doesn't that piss you off?
enjoying your fine art at the end of the evening.
That makes me mad.
But yeah, but there's an art form to that. You know what I mean? But fishing
If the art form is deceiving people, I can see it as.
I'm not enjoying this conversation.
No, it's interesting. It is a lot like talking politics, like card politics.
What? Con men and
Yeah, we gotta be careful.
no politics roll here. Here we go.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure
we're gonna take a quick.
We're done.
It's been asked that we have a close-up of your ray gun collection.
Oh yeah.
Are you okay walking us through that?
It's
real
ray gun
fast.
time with Gorby.
You can't have
Okay.
Ray gun time.
Gorby gun. No.
Yeah, so I've got. They're all from the 30s, 40s, 50s. Randy actually, I think, has a better collection than I do.
Oh, shush, Randy.
This one, so I'm working on a long-term show that I'm going to be doing, and one of the gags, one of the episodes is they have to come up. These characters have to come up with a piece of merchandise that they sell, and it's supposed to be the absolute worst merchandise possible that could never survive on market. He comes up with this toy that kids can play with called the finger bang, and the idea is that kids can put it under their shirt and do stick-ups and hold-ups. So that's the idea. I've got a full script. I don't want to give away too much.
I think you're giving away quite a bit.
So yeah, it's the finger bang. If anyone is interested in this, I will be selling these.
Does it come in pink?
It comes in pink. I wouldn't recommend your kids playing with it. Yeah, and then
Is there a logo on the side?
So actually, this piece, I've got a couple of these guns. These were made by another puppet maker that I'm friends with named Gordon Spooner. But he does some really cool work.
Right.
The rest of these are all from the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Cool.
Of course there is.
Few lingering up there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. And whoever asked what's squeaking in the background, there is a collection of birds and also children. It's a menagerie.
You do have a nice radio collection.
Do they want to see my Hellboy collection?
Where is it?
It's in this room.
Is it with the bird?
Yeah, that's a good idea, right?
We've been asked about the bird, so this will definitely double up. All right. Oh, God.
Oh, it's a little dark in here.
You're fine. That's the bird.
Oh, yeah.
That's
so
what you've been hearing. We're going to have a whole tour of the Gorby household.
these are our conures.
Bird children, yes.
So these were they were two boys. That's what we were told. One of them just laid 4 eggs, and now they're being extremely protective of their cage and quite loud.
Yes. So that's what you're hearing screaming. All right.
Yeah,
So
they're kind of hiding in there.
So, Hellboy collection.
So here's the Hellboy. Hopefully it's not too dark in here.
It's a little dark.
So I have a lot of different pieces from the actual movie, including, so these are Wink's feet from the film, from Hellboy 2. And then I have a bunch of cowls, different arm pieces. These Ron Perlman prosthetics from the movie. Kind of in line with the sculpting that we're doing today. They aren't all toys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. Goodbye, tiny bird.
Before you start.
Is it going to hurt worse or less? I can say it's spinning around really fast.
Well, you can control it.
And I put my hand on it.
That's why you lead with your left.
It's going to grab it. Yeah, it's going to grab it. Yeah, it's going to grab it. It's going to grab it, right? So if it's spinning counterclockwise, you take your right hand, you try and
Realizing
control
I
it.
wish I brought a whole bunch of other things with me.
What do you mean?
Just something like
You're pushing
tacky
that
or
control away
adhesive.
I got
So
super
if you push on
small.
the left side, it's coming toward you.
Hopefully something that doesn't leave too much of a
Grab more,
residue.
it's more like a layer.
This is like
Yeah.
tape.
And so his theory was you have more control.
But you're in the house of somebody that has
on your
a
left
lot of
side.
supplies.
So when something's spinning around, if you're left of center.
Kevin, do you have tape anywhere?
Yeah, what kind?
Masking, whatever, masking tape, something
So
like
his
that.
thing was, he didn't center with both hands. So what he would do is he'd take his elbow,
Yeah, any
put it
tape
in
really.
his side. He'd take his right hand, or he'd take his right elbow, put it on his side, he'd brace his left hand, and he'd hold it. So as that clay is coming around, it's hitting his hand, going into his body. Usually if you have a wall in the back, it's going into the wall. So it's all that force. It's like Bruce Lee doing the 1-inch punch. Comes from the floor, goes through the body, it goes out, and it's all that power. It's the reverse. You're taking all that power, pushing against it.
All right, so I got a question for the group.
Mm.
Lighting.
Not this.
No, not this. This is not ideal. It's what we have. But you tend to use like one overhead light, or do you try to get light from different angles?
It's good to have options.
Yeah.
But it's good to have one central light. So just something that makes, I mean, you'll know when you see it. This, we're getting light from, 20 different sources, so it's harder to read the shadows.
Right.
But, it's whatever you can do. But clamp lights, just because you can clamp them anywhere.
Yep.
Works well.
I have, an entire shop of fluorescent lights, but I always set up one light that I can move around that helps just put shadows on things so I can see what's going on.
But closer to a point source than like a long fluorescent light or something like that.
Yeah. And another thing that affects it is whether you're using a frosted or diffuse light versus straight light like that.
Yeah.
Would you recommend diffuse?
No, I wouldn't. I whenever possible, I like sculpting outside.
Yeah. It's funny because when I used to do running my shop, I had to do tons and tons of maquettes all the time.
Yeah.
Cranking them out so fast, it's really hard to pay attention to what you're doing. It's sort of like getting done. So I have to shut off all the lights of like one candle, and I rotate it around. So and the shadows would play all the way across it, and you could really get a quick read on just how balanced it was and if everything was in the right spot.
How Barry Lyndon of you.
What's that?
Kubrick joke.
Oh yeah. Oh god, I got it.
Well, these are kind of approaching candles.
Well, ideally, you want the light coming from over your shoulder.
Yeah.
You want the light coming from the direction you're looking, not like on the opposite side of what you're working.
Yeah, it might look cool. You never hit deep shadows under there, but
yeah, it's not good for sculpting.
Now we're getting somewhere?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just record a screen. Here we go. Show me what you have. What's going on?
Dark out up there.
Is that this part?
It's a finial, so this is your cross section. So playing with broad strokes, but I'm starting to be able to work out the detail, which will establish a theme that can carry throughout the whole thing.
Okay.
But we're looking at all these core details will be cast brass, and then all these bid forms will be burl walnut. Or I actually have some lace redwood burl that I might be using. It's more of a red, deep red burgundy tones.
Okay. And the finished product is something similar to this?
Yeah, if you want this scale.
And is this one of your lamps, or?
This is just a tabletop sculpture. I call them dust collectors because basically you just have to dust them. But this is typical of what I'm building.
Okay.
I think it's it's usually a stage around 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
What digital program are you using?
This is 3ds Max.
3ds Max?
Like seriously.
Why did you choose that one?
If someone were like, hey, you want to go for a ride? Jump in the car.
What?
Why did you choose that one?
I use that because I actually started with 3ds R4 back in DOS when I was in college. And so I'm using like 1% of the capacity of the software, but it's what I'm familiar with, and I don't really mess with a learning curve of learning something entirely over again.
Draco was going through some sort of phase where he would run.
So I've been working in this software for 20 years.
Do you ever use a pen tablet, or do you use your mouse?
I use a tablet for when I'm doing illustration.
Okay, so similar to that?
Well, just more like in Photoshop or Illustrator, I'll use a Wacom tablet. For when I'm doing 3D stuff, I'm using a 3D mouse. Because this software doesn't really lend itself. It's so robust that it... Usually the SolidWorks type packages, solid modeling, parametric modeling, they're geared more to working with tablet. This one's so robust it just won't work.
From DOS to this.
Yeah, there was literally DOS. That would have been back in '96. Yeah. So it's come a long way. So
The
Yeah.
Amazon thing for that project Blue Earth. It's a pet project of Jeff Bezos. He wants to create some kind of series which is that portrays the future in a positive light instead of a post-apocalyptic one.
He's actually doing something positive.
Well, I think what he's doing is trying to acclimatize the young folks into a world where everything is drone delivered and what have you. I think it's beneficial for him to sort of have that, you know, our immediate reaction is, oh God, you're watching us, or whatever else, but if the kids are conditioned against that.
He's brainwashed. That sounds great. Okay.
But yeah, under the guise of showing the world that, oh, we can have a technologically savvy future that the planet's balanced and everything else.
Can I ask for a close-up of the tripod?
Oh, so these eyeballs are not staying.
Oh, okay.
These are.
You don't want the pearlescent plastic eyeballs?
I
Are you
know.
talking about the green screen tripod?
Yes, so Chris has now convinced me to do, I'm assuming, a puppeted and or stop motion walk. Yes.
yeah, we'll scout.
Hopefully it comes out.
Yes. Good.
Yeah, so these are just kind of general sizes. I'll probably take these off and replace them with clear acrylic domes or even foggy ones or something like that might be backlit.
Okay. Why are you applying these at all right now then?
Just to see what it would look like.
Got it.
Plus, I didn't bring the other tools I needed to do the other things, so I gotta do something.
That's
Just
reminiscent
poking
of
around.
the creature design from Nausicaa.
That's what I said.
Did it?
Yeah.
I thought I was saying something original. Damn it.
Hey, great minds think alike.
That's the voice
Yes.
of the night, huh?
Yeah, I got
Still playing with paper mache.
Just thank your
I'll
lucky
never grow
stars
up.
I didn't start with a Scottish accent.
Is that paper mache? The teeth?
No, this is what's called cold porcelain. This is a bit of it here. This is not a standard mix. This is my own mix for a specific use.
Oh, and coming soon, Chris Wayless's book on paper mache.
It is actually coming soon.
Oh, awesome. Actually, for realsies coming
Oh
soon?
yeah, it looks pretty good so far. I still have some more work to do. Unfortunately, my graphic designer leaves town for a month next week, so it's going to be delayed a little bit, but it'll be out sometime this year.
Awesome. Everyone will want to buy that.
Oh, so cold porcelain is it's glue and cornstarch. I use wood glue because I like the color. Normally it's not like this at all. It's normally like a very smooth, creamy consistency. But I'm mixing this in a specific ratio because I'm attaching it to, sometimes in some very thin layers onto the paper mache. The softer, creamy mix that is most common has more shrinkage than this has. This has a lot more glue in it and a lot more cornstarch. So it doesn't have as much other liquid in it. So it's pretty solid when it dries. But that's one of the other materials. If I have three materials here that are all pretty typical. This is a version of my standard paper mache pulp. This is very lumpy. It's been sitting. This is actually like probably a week old or whatever. But this, if I keep kneading it, will get extremely smooth, and I can make paper thin layers and still add detail to them. That's my standard pulp for working, laying over some paper strip forms. This is a unique mix I'm just doing a lot with today, and this is basically this mix with some paper fiber in it. And what that's giving me is less shrinkage and more, even more strength. This cold porcelain stuff, especially if you mix it yourself, is very, very strong. It's much stronger than polymer clay. It's great for small teeth, claws, things like that are the things that are easily broken, which is why the teeth, the claws, and the little ends are done with this. But this new mix I'm doing is a combination of the two, and really kind of, you can see it's stickier than either. but it allows me to do the same sort of fine end stuff.
I did. I
and still have the workability that I do with my regular pulp. So that's what I'm working with today.
All right. Okay.
And the rate I'm going, I will be working with for the rest of my life.
Someone much earlier commented that your piece was larger than they had imagined, and
yeah.
Just so everyone knows, Chris Wayless only makes large things.
Yeah.
This is known.
The thing is, there's a reason for that. What I've been finding over the past 3 years of working with paper mache is that the smaller you go with stuff, the harder it is to really get the effects you want. The larger you go, the easier it is. That's true of most things, but there are a lot of sculpting materials that are designed for smaller, finer work. Paper mache doesn't quite get that unless you're willing to go in there after it's dry and tool it.
All right. You were shaking your head.
Oh, no. I was just...
Chris is wrong.
She hates paper mache.
As you can tell, she's like complete opposite.
As well as green screens.
I was just thinking, I mumble to myself and constantly like shake my head when I'm thinking through my process. So
shaking your head at your own self.
Always.
And what kind of metal is that?
Brass.
Some brass.
Brass.
That's cool.
Brass-headed brass.
All right.
Okay, old Marquita's this.
Let me this down. Oops. Just a sec.
Oh yeah.
Or a Toronto, even creature.
Right. Yeah, I have that book.
The artists gather around the mantle.
Yes, we're gathering.
Talk about one of their comrades leaving them. Noticing the phrase. Oh yeah, well, that was a pro move, Toby Froud. I went like that. I'm like, bam.
Yeah. I started getting a little bit of the detail on this guy. On that one side.
I like all the back muscles in here.
Nice.
A lot of
Could you turn it?
We're kind of limited with
there will be a brain and some eye stalks inside this bubble. I'll keep posting on the Shiflett Bros forum as I make more progress on this.
That would be appreciated. And again, I'll make sure to get everyone's links at the end. Your missing link. Sausage link.
What do you think, man? You want to do this again?
links to Dreyfus. Rammstein.
Usually, like every 7 months.
Let's see.
It's also it's kind of the biggest thing. I think when you stick this up, it might. Like I would never do. Like proportionally, maybe not right now. It feels a little. It's gonna get bad. Shorter. Yeah. Halfway. I'm just saying that. Like I'm not trying to. Yeah. No. I feel like a crazy. The guy before he was kind of shorter. He was like 5'7", always really weird proportions. And like he would do sexy girls, but they always had a little bit.
I go, oh, robot monster. And if I said that to you, you know immediately.
Sometimes like he was.
Oh, I know that one. It's famous. It's like a really silly. The more I described it, the more she was. Yeah. Because it'd be like highly detailed, state of the art, excellent. But I have this. A lot of us who share an affinity for bad movie monsters, and to me when I see this kind of design, it makes me smile every time I see it. Yeah. And
her forward arm?
And Joseph just doesn't have that kind of attachment to stupid things like that. But I think if you sat around and watched a Mystery Science Theater send up a
this site's
robot monster,
this feels like a feel like we got pretty good.
Did MSTK do a monster robot?
I think they did.
I don't remember them.
They did, it was early. Thank you.
That would be a good one.
Somebody did a transcript of the script for Robot Monster. It's online.
I have a Barbara
You should try and read it.
she's holding a ray gun.
Yeah, but you get like, you know, you get like 2 pages in and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't understand what's being
It's like the leg when I start. I've always
So
wanted to
weird.
There's
There's a
painting as a sculptor.
Robot Monster
Season
does.
one, it's like super.
Oh yeah. What's that?
Mystery Science Theater did do Robot Monster season 1.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't later.
Yeah, that's kind of low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Can I see your little tickler thing?
But there's
Tickler?
it's almost a soliloquy by the robot monster midway through where he's going
Things you want to hear.
Sorry, Shakespearean.
Maybe it's my comfort level is a little.
There's a vinyl toy company, Pop Toys, that says
Found pieces, yeah.
that is like.
I knew I wasn't gonna get it.
Giving him a live feed.
Sorry.
They're big, especially with the interface with the interface with Bubb. It's like, okay, how do I make the last thing I have actually work? So that I cut the bottom of the bubble to just perfectly size.
I don't really know
I discovered with the
prototypes, but one thing I want to get into
Oh,
is
okay.
like tools like this.
Yeah.
Which hopefully hasn't come to a stall.
Well, I thought it was a green light, and we signed the contract, so they said, okay, where are you going to wire the money? And she hasn't got back to me. That's one of the first things that usually people want to do.
Yeah, when are we going to?
Well, we're going all night, baby.
I think there would be bourbon, and I've not
I mean, it
seen
doesn't really
it.
matter, so. And I have to think really just Christmas meals now, the few of us.
And then her
So
ring
I feel bad that it's almost all gone.
all found pieces.
I guess that will wait, right?
Yeah,
This is one of my pieces, so
because I'm gonna leave those empty. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's the big.
So you can either put it in
Not
there
one
or
that I made
there.
all the brass.
Right.
This is my foundry, cast them all up and machine them.
So I haven't really found the right size.
Going
Right.
where I'm doing
Although I guess it is sci-fi. So.
Yeah.
so I'm doing. This is the part I did. And
Actually, I'm liking what the holsters do and widen out their hips.
Eventually, I'm gonna be doing really, really complex on stuff like this.
I want to then emphasize
I just
hourglass.
like it turning like that.
Yeah, that's what it works. So it's a stepping
You need to
stone.
put it on like a little wheel.
I've already done some of the brass wax.
Well, you
gone from
planning on
having
doing
finished
the,
brass
like
parts.
off the jetpack?
Smoke rail, yeah, and that's where I'm gonna hide
This is the
that.
next
Yeah,
iteration.
which is great.
Kind of working out the kinks and once I get that.
Would you say that were against?
You know what this reminds me of? I can't
Just
remember the name.
Found
Little
pieces,
bits,
little bits and pieces, you know, a Mardi Gras bead, little pearl off of a fake necklace, and then
gooseneck.
a piece off of an old 50s alarm clock.
It definitely
And
has
then
that
a
shape
couple
of the
pieces
sphere.
out of a printer that I picked up.
So when I was in Florida, we could have like swap meets and.
Thank goodness we're all borders.
Florida, and they had tons of these.
Yeah, and those are
Like I have a gourd at home,
welding
it's about
kit.
this big. It's kind of like that.
It works.
But I got into carving them.
Okay.
And it's hard to carve because the skin's not that thick. So you gotta, if you're carving that outside doing decorative stuff, you gotta, be kind of careful.
It's usually a Dremel tool or a 4
No.
piece type thing, or?
Like a chisel.
This is wet.
Yeah, whatever. It's,
So you're not breaking through the surface.
Yeah. But I actually,
I go to the surface.
it's kind of,
I was in stuff where they're carving all the way through.
Yeah. But I was more like actually carving it. I was going to Disney on the lawn.
All right,
For
we
the
have
first
a
hour,
good question. It's,
the first hour.
did anyone ever try to sculpt something and it looks entirely different to the people around you?
People around.
What? Every day, every time?
That's not my question.
Yes. I would say
The answer is yes.
Did anyone sculpt something that was entirely different?
You mean like it
like
came out
where
different
everyone
from-
else reads it just completely differently from your original intention.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, misinterpretation? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, more like diff Different interpretation.
Different interpretation.
Oh yeah, I never thought of it like that. Yeah,
No, mine are all perfect. Like,
totally fair. Go ahead, Tim. Yeah.
But anyway, I was doing 2D drawing animation.
No, I tell
Working all day,
everyone
like 10-hour days. And I literally had bought these boards, and I would, after a 10-hour day, I would put them in my lap and really chisel these things at my desk.
Just to relax.
Just because I didn't have any, anywhere to go or whatever. And that's kind of easy.
Cool.
We'll let him get a laptop.
Oh.
Well, having.
I don't know.
I want to see what the experience is like.
It's a really old laptop, so that's mostly the experience.
All right, guys, I'm out.
All right, man.
See you all.
thanks for coming.
Sign off.
Sign off. Yeah, you have to have your official sign off.
Jeremy Pelletier out. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. Bye. See ya. Take it easy.
And it was empty.
Bye.
All right, you all get this set up now. There is a delay.
So Kevin, how are you responding to this? Because I see you sculpting, but then all of a sudden there's like remarks.
That's all I get.
Oh, okay.
I have to set this here. Don't be too embarrassed. Feel free
Good
to
angle.
move it around.
Good angle.
Sorry, I have to answer questions.
Everybody loves an up-angled camera.
Nose shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do. Oh. Yeah, no. It's not that.
Where's the camera? I don't want to be like.
Right here.
Maddening. Yeah. Oh, trying to mimic. Yeah.
Like, I'm not my least favorite.
Crap. This is the first time I've seen your sculpt, Chris, from the front. That is crazy. That is awesome. What is your eyeball in there?
What's that?
What is your eyeball made out of in there?
Oh, it's just an acrylic sphere. Painted on the inside.
Oh, okay. That's cool looking, man. God, that is insane.
Yeah. It's a little dark.
I love it.
I'll adjust that when I paint this entire thing black.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. That's also one of the things to take into consideration when you're working on paper mache, because it shrinks. And so you do an eyelid on a creature, you have to adjust for that. It has to come a little further down, a little closer in on the side.
Do you sneak up on it, or you do a little bit and then build on that after that's dry, and then build on that after it's dry?
No, I do it different every time. I honestly do. Normally, I'm in too much of a hurry, and I'll just put a blob of pulp there and push it down and make sure it's down far enough, and I know I can gauge by the thickness how much it's going to shrink. But sometimes if it's something more critical I'm taking more time with, I'll go to cold porcelain, which also shrinks, but you can get it finer.
Well, and plus, a lot of times what I'll do is with Sculpting, the nice thing about it is you can bake it without all the traffic. So bake it, sand it, and do that stuff on your next lap. And bake it, because there's no way I can go back to your sculpting is so clean when you're done. That's how you get all this clean.
I don't really have anything.
I love weird things, but it's like what you said before, smear the Sculpting, that's how you get sticks, even if you have to dig on the channel. My first work with belt is take the question is, you might do saw it, or you gonna put it back on overlay, and just kind of go cut a little channel in there.
Seriously, Sam, I put dibs first. I get paid twice a month.
Gotcha. Well, let me finish it up, and then we have to do our stop motion or puppeteered green screen shoot first.
All right. Oh, is that what this is for?
No. But Chris has decided that that's what.
Oh, okay. I see how that works.
Yes.
At one point, Charles
I
had
know, all of us are like,
a motion theory on this tool he was making. He said
you have a good eye for it.
And I
I
was
would say there's upcoming like a door.
he's like so
Yeah, like it's, I guess, there's a lot of machine things that are just like bulky and.
I like insectoid things.
Yes.
They're fucking
But I mean, like it has
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to kind of have like a weird ballerina point fetish shoe look.
Like it could also be a lot of
Yes.
I was gonna insult your NASA band too.
Oh, nice.
Because I love it, and I'm just joking. But I said instead of being
Not there yet.
No, I just
really
noticing your reference material.
This is after we've been getting
Trying to find photos of him sort of around the same age that he was without all the eye makeup on.
Yeah.
Because that eye makeup really shades his face.
Yeah. I'm still saying the hardest portrait sculpture I ever did was of Burt Reynolds.
Oh, really?
I believe it.
Yeah, because he was going to be a silicone bust. They were going to punch his hair. So trying to sculpt Burt Reynolds without a mustache.
He's always had a mustache.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Burt Reynolds without it.
Yeah, you got to go back to like Mean Machine and oh wait, no, he had a mustache in Mean Machine. You got to go back to Deliverance and.
He had a mustache in Deliverance. Did he?
He was in Deliverance?
No.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the banjo that's
Yeah.
No, you're right. No.
He didn't have a mustache.
Did he not?
I've never seen Deliverance.
Wow.
Was he like a?
I haven't seen it either, I just know that there's banjo.
Maybe it's 64 and above.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Now we have to know.
But 70s obviously is a very, important time, but certain clubs.
Nope, no mustache.
No mustache.
Yeah, I think so. I think Mean Machine didn't have a mustache either.
Oh, yeah.
Or not Mean Machine. Excuse me. Longest Yard.
Look at that.
Mean Machine was the.
Also says no mustache.
No mustache. Thank you, audience.
On which one?
They said
Yeah.
no mustache. I should have found that one. I guess that was years ago.
I keep saying Mean Machine. I mean the Longest Yard. Mean Machine was the British soccer remake of the Longest Yard, which is with Vinnie Jones, which is also awesome.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah. Charles is our resident expert in
everything,
all sorts of
Movie
old
knowledge.
movie knowledge.
That's when they started to stop. Big time is because of the oil prices. That's when they started cutting back muscle cars.
Oh, man.
These things that look like file cabinets.
Right, like 75 was not.
Yeah, I ended up sculpting a mustache on him, and then just
You have
removing
to.
it later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to at some point. Yeah.
because it wasn't making any visual sense to me.
I have the same comment when I wake up and look in the mirror.
That you need a mustache?
That he doesn't
Lots
make
of
any
things.
visual sense.
A new head.
In just a second, I'll bring the camera around so you don't have to sneak things.
That wasn't even mine.
No, it was mine. Thanks.
I did something horrible yesterday.
Do tell.
It's like a Larry David moment. You ever see Curb Your Enthusiasm? Oh shit, is this being recorded?
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
I was actually going to warn you.
You might want to wait.
Wait, I thought that look of glee in your eye was anticipation.
It was.
So there's a slight delay, right? So someone said reply to Burt Reynolds is, then you realize Burt had no mustache back then, and then you start drinking absinthe and cutting your ear off.
Huh?
Okay.
That's obtuse.
It was definitely a Van Gogh reference mixed with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
It is. Burt Go. No.
Burt Go?
Yeah, like, go.
Oh, Van Reynolds sounds nicer.
Van Reynolds sounds cool.
Yeah. Van Reynolds.
Makes me think of the, all these resin kits that are good of female characters.
Yeah.
That the sculpts never look right to me, and they never look right until you paint on the makeup.
Sure, yeah.
And it's not just paint them; you have to paint the makeup on.
Yes, yeah.
Ever seen a Barbie doll with no makeup?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Stan Van Little Longer Girlfriend. Wow. Come on.
Oh, yikes.
Viewership up. Oh, it's up.
What's your biggest challenge during a tight deadline sculpt?
Oh man, biggest challenge during a tight deadline sculpt.
Yeah, the deadline.
Yeah.
The deadline, but when you're sculpting,
The deadline itself.
do you have a certain thing that catches you up sometimes, or you're worried about? Is it the aesthetics, or like the technical thing, or maybe you've run out of your supplies? Like, what is? Think back to like Nightmare Project. You're at the 10th hour, 13th hour.
Yeah.
What hung you up the most?
So as far as projects that have, okay, I had this one project where I had to do a whole number. Do I need to lean in? Okay. There was a whole bunch of. So, I had a project where I had to do a whole series of portraits.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I had 2 days each to do.
What was your sculpting material?
Each portrait sculpt. I was sculpting in Chavant.
And was it life size or scale?
It was scaled,
Okay.
but then they were scanned and blown up.
Okay.
Then I had to rotocast all of them in the blown up form. So I had to mold them and rotocast them because we needed a bunch of each.
Ew.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. But the worst part about it was that we were shipping all of our materials in the midst of an ice storm.
Yeah.
And so the resins that were coming in were being affected by the severe cold. And so I didn't have the time to put them into like a warm room to heat up gradually over the course of a few days. I had to just jump in and use it. So every 2 or 3 would come out with blisters, or they'd be weeping or something like that. So yeah, just giving yourself ample time and pre-treating your materials as needed before you get the project up and running is always the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Treat your materials well.
Cobb can would say.
The Cobb corner.
I've made Captain Picard.
There's a little John Malkovich.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of, the new series I hear is good.
I did not watch it yet.
Haven't seen it yet. Yeah, no spoilers.
Where do you see it at?
This is on CBS All Access.
Oh.
A Picard focused series, which I hear is really good.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it tomorrow because tonight I'm finishing the final 2 episodes of Breaking Bad.
Wait a minute.
He's catching up with the rest of society.
I know, I'm 10 years behind. I'm sorry.
So the final 2?
Yeah, I'm on the final 2.
Oh, wow. You're
Yeah.
in for a treat.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we're getting a high-demand question. Chris?
Although, I'll say.
Chris, you have a high-demand question apparently.
Yes. You're being asked about the melty face scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Quite a bit. I've put it off as much as I can. All right, so do you want to talk about that scene?
Sure. I mean, if there's anything specific you want to know about the melting head, please ask. But in general, it was a sort of a pain in the rear end to do.
Okay.
Because it was a very tough mix. I couldn't just do it out of wax or anything else because wax just melts far too thin, far too watery. It wasn't the look I wanted. I wanted that goopy, dripping look. So I had to do a lot of experimenting with other materials. I wound up going with gelatin fairly quickly, but the mix was really, really, really thin. I started making the actual head that was going to melt about 1 in the morning so that we could film it by about 11 that morning, because if we waited for 2 hours, the gelatin would literally just tear itself apart. So it was a really delicate mix with a very small window to do it, and it was a matter of just having a negative mold of Toad's face and a skull that I had sculpted for that, and the space in between had to get filled, but I couldn't just pour something in there. I had to do all these layers to make it all look like something. So there's yarn in there, and I changed the density of the gelatin in certain areas so that Like the cheeks would melt a little bit faster because they were thicker. So there was a lot of minor adjustment to that stuff. There is one thing that drives me crazy about that shot. I had actually rigged the eyes to not just roll back as they do in the film, but actually the eyes were pulled back into the head, into the skull. But at the last second, it was decided that the shot was going to be a motion control shot. And so we could only hook up a certain number of the effects, the eyes rolling back stuff. So I was very disappointed that I didn't get those eyes pulling back in there. But
it kind of looks like it. Someone has added the GIF of that exact shot. I don't know if it's showing on here yet, but...
I have a question.
Sure.
So, and obviously, Melting Head, very well known for it. There are 3 different death heads in that. Did you do all 3 or just?
Yes, all 3.
Okay. All right. So what was the technique you used for the head that actually I kind of like almost as much as the Melting Head, which was the one that shrinks?
That's actually my favorite one.
Yeah.
That was that was a lot more work actually. It wasn't as delicate a rig. I sculpted. It was really pretty intriguing. It looked a lot better in person, to be honest. So I sculpted a head, basically a skull, and I sculpted all these deep creases and everything in it, so that when the outer skin, which was just a latex skin, deflated, it would suck and pull you into all those little creases that I drilled tons and tons of little holes in. The issue was maintaining the pressure on the bladder, the skin, and that Gary Claddick came up with a regulator for that was just fantastic, really great, made it all work. And that's Joe Johnston's hand in front, and we did a couple of different tests on that, one of which I kind of wish we had a chance to do more with, because what I did was I had the latex bladder and I coated it with some silicate of soda. I'm not sure what it was, something very brittle. And so I had the inside, the actual skin was painted like a horrific disease, death thing. And the outside was normal skin, so that it added, as it shrunk, all this skin started flaking off. And I thought it was a potentially really cool effect that I never got a chance to take it to the right step. But I am pretty well known for the Melting Head, though.
And not just hangovers.
So yeah. So one of the interesting things about the Exploding Head was dealing with the hands, because that exploding head had primacord inside, as well as being shot from behind by 2 shotguns for the spray. Stephen really wanted the head to go, basically fill the screen with red. This was when it was still an R-rated movie.
And when you say shotgun, you literally mean a real shotgun?
Yes,
not
just
a
two actual real shotguns, not air cannons or anything like that. Real shotguns. And so Stephen really wanted the whole screen to turn red, but he only wanted the head to be affected, not the hands. I'm going, you're firing 2 shotguns into the hands. So fortunately, I think it was BJB I've been working with, and they came up with this formula, and it was fantastic. Really incredibly tough urethane that also was still slightly flexible, heavy as hell. So they had to be sprung so that they would actually fly dependably, so that they didn't just kind of like flop all over and everything. So I rigged them. It was really gentle. They were like barely touching the head, so that as soon as they moved a little bit, they sprung pretty quickly out of the way. But there's one take that's really great, because you see the head explodes, it just disappears, the hand's falling like this, and the eyeball comes and lands right in the hand just as it's coming down and presenting it. We laughed pretty hard at that one.
Yeah, I imagine.
Any specific questions on any of that?
Let's see, I'm on a delay, so let me check.
Jared says it was his secret mission to hear Chris talk about this, so mission accomplished.
And then maybe later we can squeeze in a story about how you got kissed by a chimpanzee.
Baboon.
Baboon. Oh, sorry. I am so sorry. Spoiler and also trigger warning.
Baboon. who I had to beat out against.
For your
I had to beat Typhoon the Baboon for the love of my life, because Typhoon the Baboon had a severe crush on the woman that was going to turn into my bride.
Turn into your bride, you say?
Yes, it sounds like a horror movie.
It does.
Yeah, the Typhoon the Baboon was our script supervisor, Jillian Richardson, who I have been married to for over 30 years now, was apparently quite a lookalike to the Baboon's trainer. And so the Baboon would get very excited when she was around. But fortunately, it wasn't a big deal, but it was certainly amusing to the majority of the crew, except for Jill, who was unaware of it.
Holding the camera steady, sorry.
And he was a pretty scary baboon. The trainer was very cautious about it. Baboons, according to him, it can only be they're very hard to get workable, and even when they get workable, they aren't workable for that long. So we had to literally, when the baboon came on the set, we had to not move, not look at it, do all that. I mean, that's pretty typical with any wild animal, but
or actor.
So, but this was seriously, if he started acting up, the entire crew had to evacuate the stage and just basically silently run. Fortunately, the baboon identified Jeff Goldblum as the alpha male in the group, and they got along great.
Doesn't everyone identify Jeff Goldblum as the alpha male?
What?
Doesn't everyone identify Jeff Goldblum
Yeah,
as
of
the
course.
alpha male?
How could you not?
And that's, of course, on the fly. I guess we did a quick transition.
Now, when you say baboon, you're talking about an actual baboon, not the director. Like you weren't using a...
No, it was an actual baboon.
Okay, because I have some directors that get on set and you're like, don't look them in the eye.
No, this was David Cronenberg, who was
he's on
so
point.
great.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about David necessarily, just generically directors. You gotta be careful and stuff.
Yep, this is
that
a
guy's
live
stud.
feed.
That guy's a stone cold stud. Fly. He's very fly.
Probably the most
Super fly.
screen time that a baboon has had in a major motion picture, isn't it?
No, there's a major motion picture, yeah, but there were a couple of baboon horror movies out there.
What was that one? Was it Sandra Bullock with the space baboon?
I can't remember the names
What
of
was
them.
the last space movie?
I'm sure there were virus movies too, where
Oh no, it was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Wasn't there like a virus film where the baboons
Out-
had some
Outbreak?
virus? Yeah, something like that.
Oh yeah, I don't think I ever saw
Was
that
it
one.
baboons? I can't remember.
It goes back to Sands of the Kalahari.
Yeah, but that almost seemed real. I mean,
a lot of it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although they did do at least a hair suit. I don't know if it's actually looks like a baboon or whatever for just the close-ups of the battle of a body of fur running past camera.
Oh my god, that movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh yeah, it's is it Stuart Whitman?
Yeah.
He's in that. He's in the final scene, and
Yeah.
spoiler alert.
It's a battle for superiority against. It's a group of people who are stranded out in the Kalahari Desert, and
like a plane crash or something.
Yeah, something like that, and they wind up sort of getting primal or something, don't they? Don't they? Stuart Whitman kind of becomes like the
it's like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, except baboons attack.
Right, and then it's sort of like the de-evolution of man before your eyes, and then the baboons take you totally primal.
And so as soon as the reformer gets on, it shakes.
I haven't bothered the other table in a while. I'm gonna do that. Oh yes.
No, well, it's the performers now.
They're all top 9 up there. Playing video games so
I thought maybe you were talking shit.
Oh no.
No, 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 no.
I haven't gone and checked, but
Talking about stage props that are.
Do tell.
No, we're not going to talk about that in this
Tell
forum.
what?
Well, can you tell us the general idea of what you maybe make for someone you might be? You might know well.
Well, my wife is a burlesque performer, so I build props for burlesquing, which often
Burlesquing, that's a great word.
which are often really ridiculous and silly. And so,
18 and over. Sort of.
yeah, well, not always, but yeah, that's a good idea. 18 and over is a good idea.
Bela Lugosi melting at the end.
How are we doing over here?
Good. Coming along?
Pretty rad.
Coming along. Just
First sci-fi Froud sculpture.
going around and around. Just trying to...
Just continuing to look
Continue to
around.
go. I'll start rubbing it with alcohol as to smooth it out, and then cling film texture pass and stuff like that. But yeah. Then I'm looking forward to painting and hair and fabric, and I always put more things on there. Do other bits.
Where will you post the final product?
Oh, I'll post it on Instagram.
Thank you.
What's your Instagram account, Toby?
It's like T-Froud or something. I'm not sure.
So you're gonna rub alcohol on that later?
Yes.
I've been rubbing alcohol
On your liver.
all afternoon.
He's been drinking the champagne of beers.
Ooh, are you living the high
I bought this
life?
specifically for this event.
Yes. Yes. Miller, please pay us for this.
I feel like it's just full of itself.
This is the sculptors.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Gorby.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Which one do you trust?
Toby Froud.
Oh, of course.
I'm drinking mellow yellow right now.
Talking about the 90s.
Here we go.
And some cider, as a true burlesque performer would.
Hey, I got a good question for all the other sculptors. When you're sculpting, guys, even though they're right here, do you like to watch anything, like watch TV or movies while you're sculpting? And if you don't, do you like to listen to music? And if you do, what kind do you like?
Ooh. All right.
So, are you a video person? Are you because when you're sculpting, usually you're looking at your sculpture. So some people, when they like to have stuff on in the background, are you one of those people, or are you strictly music?
What's your answer?
Let's go counterclockwise on this table.
I usually watch movies, but lately it's been too distracting. And so I've been going to different Spotify playlists and just listening to. Well, this one was. I don't even remember. What was I doing? I was doing Debauchka last night with this.
Oh, from Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah. And that was
Shout out.
what I was listening to last night.
Crappy gif of it.
Toby Froud.
I listen to music.
Show tunes.
Show tunes. I listen to music. Recently, it's either Spotify and it's soundtrack music, or right now, Dark Crystal Age of Resistance soundtrack.
Hell yeah!
And
Did you work on that?
I did. And Electro Swing. There you go.
Yes, electro swing.
Yeah.
And if you combine the two, electro swing, which will blow your mind. Toby Froud, favorite soundtrack other than Dark Crystal, which is available on which?
I think it's Netflix. Let's see. Let's say the other soundtrack. Well, there's parts of the Witcher soundtrack is pretty good.
Last soundtrack you've listened to twice.
Last of the Mohicans.
Oh,
That's a good one.
we went deep cut there, guys.
It went from The Witcher to Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
Kevin Gorby.
And Dark Crystal Age of
I
Resistance.
usually watch.
Now, when you say watch, you have to say I watch or I have in the background or I glance casually. Like, clarify.
Well, I have in the background. If I have something that's too interesting, like a movie or something,
Like
I
Dark
won't
Crystal.
I won't get anything done. Yeah. So
Resistance.
I like.
Have a few of you worked on that? That's interesting. That's interesting. Sorry.
Wait, you worked on Dark Crystal?
I did.
Yeah. So I like stand-up typically, like watching Tom Segura or something, or Key and Peele. It's a good show to sculpt too. Something I can just listen to. But yeah, I can't. If I'm watching something, I won't get any work done.
Streaming platform, iTunes, Spotify, cassettes, vinyl. You do rock some vinyl once in a while, right?
I do have vinyl. Yeah, I've got a bit of vinyl. No, it's whatever I can put on my laptop, like Amazon Prime or something. Keep it simple.
I have vinyl just because I don't throw anything away. Mr. Adams.
Oh, hi.
Let me come around this way.
So I do not watch anything because my brain don't work that way. Metal all the way, metal. But
What kind of
also-
metal? What does metal mean to you?
Scrap metal.
What is that?
Some guy banging on a brick drum.
Yeah. Just whatever's like new, super hard. Like, you know, I'm old school Slayer, Pantera, Sepultura, Judas Priest, you know, but a lot of new metal stuff too is pretty cool. Sometimes super crunchy, sometimes groovy, pretty chunky. But also, I'm down with that.
It's kind of soft, kind of mushy.
Well, you know,
it's
like
kind of al dente.
Al dente? Yeah. Well, metal has probably more descriptive words. Like there's dark metal, there's black metal, there's like it's like the 50 Shades of Grey, except way worse.
50 Shades of Metal.
50 Shades of Metal, yeah. But I also do really enjoy a good soundtrack. The Gone Girl soundtrack, I probably had in my truck for the last 6 months, and I can kind of listen to that at any point. Trent Reznor, anything Trent Reznor is really good, and Atticus Ross. Like a good show tune once in a while. Actually, Age of Resistance soundtrack is really good. I've listened to that a few times.
Can you remind me where to watch that? I forgot.
I think it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Pretty fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Some great
Cool.
characters on that. But yeah, Toby and I did work together on that. So.
Oh.
I was his podling,
Oh,
his Padawan on that
That's
one.
hot.
But yeah, super hot. But, yeah. Once in a while, a good podcast. Joe Rogan, pretty fun. Yeah, good times.
We're getting some interesting replies from the audience as to what they
I'm
listen
sure
to.
They're like, hey, go to the next table. Please go to the table.
They're in the audience is heavy into BDSM answers right now. So.
Wow.
Oh, you want those? Wow.
Yes.
It was a burlesque.
Yes. That's where they went. So.
We now know our target.
Oh,
They
yeah.
can ask us those questions. That's fine.
Yeah, I know. If anyone wants to ask slightly inappropriate but interesting question.
But it came out the same year, right?
Not sure.
Sorry guys, I gotta sit down again.
Did you learn?
Maybe I can aim it this way.
Well, I only did the second one because of the first. Because they were gonna shoot them all in London with the main unit. And
No, I just stopped working for the time being.
You're like, nothing else.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out.
It must have come out because we were still shooting, and Richard Edmonds had seen the scan. I may have seen it at a preview because I know Cronenberg was showing it to Steven,
Oh,
and Steven was he was so crazy about that exploding head. It was just like, that's the best thing in the movie. David Cronenberg should have saved it for the very end. It was so
Anya, I'll pick it up from now.
So,
mind if I film?
In some ways, I
Do
can't
it.
disagree because
All right.
it's such a high moment.
oh, absolutely.
I'll answer questions
I
for you.
think it's the entire rest of the thing. So yeah, so Richard Edlund, I guess was in England and said, well, I think we got the guy to actually blow these heads up. So he came back and said, so Chris, we got these 3 heads to blow up. And I think you're probably the guy to do it. And we're like, yeah, sure, I blow up heads. And then, thank goodness, totally his suggestion. He said, you know, maybe let's just blow all 3 of them up. Let's do something different with them. Well, yeah, okay. So he said, well, what do you want to do? And so I just kind of said, well, you know, I've never actually melted anybody because that would be fun.
That's what I say all the time.
Here's my completely impractical approach to everything. Whatever you do, mention something impossible before you think of how to do it. So he was totally up for that. And then the shriveling head was just kind of
an afterthought, really. Although that really was my favorite to work on.
Well, that melting head did cause me to leave quite a bit of wax in my mom's carpet. I tried to emulate that effect. Little plaster head, sculpted up with a lot of plasticine clay that was meltable with a hair dryer, and sat there with the hair dryer. And, yeah, carpet was not happy about that one. Yeah.
Not my fault.
No,
I'm not paying for it. No, I hear that a lot, actually.
That's right.
Shot inspired a lot of people.
Oh my goodness. Chris, what's that thing on your shirt?
I'm so glad you asked. Here, this is the sacred emblem of the secret group we call Dark Arbor Lodge. Dark Arbor Lodge is a group of local artists, many who are here today, and we meet once a month to just socialize, but also to trade hard data and technical information. It's a great get together. We're on our third year now, so we're embarking on more ambitious projects. We did an art gallery show for the H.P. Lovecraft Film Festival here in town last year. And this year, we're planning on something a little bit different, which Sam will tell you about.
Oh. Yes. Well, I can't really see myself here. Well, am I okay?
Yes, you're okay.
You take that.
Yeah.
So, Dark Arbor Lodge is planning to create a series of short videos, probably trailer length. And what we're hoping to do is to take those and basically create an extended behind the scenes. So it's us making all of the little props, the monsters, the effects, and everything else. And then we'll show you the film, and then we'll show you exactly how we made all of the bits for the film. So that's in the works.
That sounds great. Doesn't it, Randy? All right, I'm not holding this anymore.
We'll take it. So what do you guys listen to when you're, well, Chris?
Could you rephrase the question? So I'm deaf and cannot hear, so I can't listen to anything. So next person.
Charlie.
It's such a huge mix of everything because I have pretty broad taste. A lot of soundtracks if I'm working in my shop. Unfortunately, if I'm working on my computer, a lot of YouTube videos of people talking about making things while I'm working on my computer. But a lot of just everything. I mean, I listen to Slayer just like Ben over there too. So I mean, across the board.
All right, Mr. Bowen.
I used to have the History Channel on in the.
That's a cute look, by the way.
In the background. But then I realized I learned far too much about Hitler. And so I thought I'd change it up, and now I listen to a lot of podcasts, Joe Rogan show.
Podcasts, yes.
Yeah, what's the history one that's great?
Revisionist history?
No, it's, now I can't really blank on the guy's name, but there's this fantastic. They're using my phone to shoot with, otherwise I would look it up and tell you. But
I've been listening to Inglorious Treksperts. I can't have enough Star Trek.
Nick?
Well, speaking of Star Trek, so two things I tend to do. One is to put on soundtracks that go with the thing of sculpting. So you can find a lot of the old soundtracks for Star Trek,
or you have all the CDs like me.
Yeah, or you have them directly accessible through CD form. I will also put on tutorials. So I've been going through a bunch of YouTube tutorials about sculpting and prop making and painting and whatever. I've been binging a lot of the Stan Winston School videos because I'm a member of that site, which is great for learning all sorts of stuff. So depending on how much I need to concentrate and focus on what I'm doing, But a good long form tutorial, I think, is a good background.
I stream Pandora generally on a very, very big, loud stereo system in my shop. And generally, like Toby, I do electro swing, postmodern, like Dispatch of Sky. Basically anything that is driving inspirational beats but no lyrics, because I don't want to have the distraction of having to follow along with some sort of narrative, but I want to have the adrenaline rush I get with strong driving music that's very melodramatic.
Very interesting.
Actually, I was watching Arena with another friend I made there, and she's metalhead. And we're watching, and they do a lot like this.
And Dana Gould. Dana Gould.
Dana Gould is a genius.
There's a part in the concert where the guy's like, and I'm looking at my buddy.
I think I'm an audiobook person myself.
I do that too, but not as often. I save the audiobooks mostly when I'm driving. I have a hard time focusing when I'm listening to the audiobook and sculpting or painting or working in the shop. I find them actually more distracting. If it's just conversation, it's less distraction.
Yeah, I like the feel of the multitask, I guess. That actually, I like to do my language learning when I'm sculpting, because there's something about having my hands moving, and having my hands moving that frees up my brain. So, yeah. Do. Scooching, I'm moving. I'm on the move.
I think I'm gonna have to definitely go resin drip.
A resin drip?
Yeah, resin drip and drool.
What about the sculpture though?
Hey Sam, what language are you learning?
我会说一点点的中国话。
What the?
Oops.
Chinese?
对。
Sounds Mandarin.
Oh, there's Sam.
That is very metal. Mandarin. Yeah.
I was going to say Mandalorian.
Coming around.
Sam Cam time, folks.
Sam Cam. It's the Sam Cam.
We need to start having theme songs.
Well, Sam Cam sounds like on Pee-wee's Playhouse with
Sorry for anybody who's motion sick. I just
So Nick, are you going to be selling those?
Yeah, the plan is to mold it and.
What's that? Yeah, that's the plan. Mold it and cast it.
get a good shot.
I think Derek's making the most progress.
I think I jumped forward to the details before I got all the smoothing done. So we'll see how much of it
The only way I'm going to get one.
But I'll have a tendency to obsess over details, so it's like,
I don't know of a better reason
I
than
keep
that.
working on proportions forever and nothing to details, so jump into it and do stuff.
I think we should have a burlesque theme at some point. I mean, there's a lot of Space Girls that have been done.
Are you guys going to all show up in tassels? All right.
Yeah. You'll be the ringmaster.
I accept.
So once again, I'd like to say that I started this sculpture in 2005. Any of you guys that don't know this, it's 2020. I just found that out recently myself. But it is, and Kevin Gorby and I were just talking about setting a project down for a little bit and then bringing it back. Like a lot of artists will work on one thing and they'll work from beginning to end. That's amazing. Some artists like to have a few things at the same time they can jump back and forth to. I personally never done a piece, started it, set it down for a decade and a half, and started reworking it. It's interesting to see how my style has changed, how it's maybe stayed the same, but
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I'm noticing today, to share, because I'm feeling emotional right now, is my sculpting technique. I've done a lot of sculpting in the last 15 years versus before I did a lot more 2D artwork. So I've noticed that my sculpting ability has changed quite a bit and how I approach sculpting something. And so I'm redoing a lot of things I did 15 years back.
So how do you feel about when you look at the images or sculptures that you started off with? Things that you were really proud of back when you were in the process of learning. How do you look at those now? Do you sort of cringe, or you're like, oh, actually that had good form, or?
I was pretty damn good. You say that. It's all downhill from there. No, I would probably say I learned a lot of tricks, but I wish sometimes I would have evolved a little bit more. So I can be humble in the fact that I feel like I started at a fairly good level, but I admire so many people who have so many abilities. I know there's always more you can and more things you can learn about yourself and experiment with.
Well, see, you're like the sea anemone. You're patient. You wait until it.
Life's a journey, art's a journey. And it feels good to put new life into this. Get it a little closer to being finished.
I don't want to be too serious. No. Yeah, you said one. I wish I could remember what it was.
I know. I try not to take things too seriously.
That's when
and
you
Ben sets them up far too easily.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, he was setting up other people too.
I tried.
So it was really cool on being able to talk about our website.
Oh yeah, it's really fun.
About the meetings.
What else? If anyone needs a website, please call me. Just kidding, please.
We get
There was a request to see people's toolboxes, so I was trying to organize mine. Normally it's fairly organized. And like probably a lot of the sculptors I know, I only use a handful of the tools that are in this box and not the 50 or so that are in here.
Absolutely. You always have way more tools and you end up using the same one again and again.
That's right. We all
Yep.
have our favorites.
I'm just going to add this tendrils for a couple more hours and should be ready to.
Looks like we're all wrapping it up here.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be goofy.
Just feel more like a postcard too.
He's unmistakable. That's a pretty identifiable guy.
These lens flares are very good.
A quick mustache and eyebrows on there before I leave and say, well, there you go. It's kind of unique.
What's your plan with this guy?
I want to do a series of. Now I'm all into this.
I was gonna ask the
classic gorilla costumes from the, just the major guys. But this belongs in the George Barrows. Like you could almost just do a different head and put that gorilla head on there. I was gonna ask you. These are all one-piece suits, weren't they? Except for gloves and hands.
For the most part, there's some question on a couple of them. Some of the early ones were pants and shirt style, but for the vast majority of them, they're all zipper up the back.
It makes more sense because then you won't see the seam as easily.
Right. Well, and that's why, especially back then, all the fur was long on all of these suits, specifically to hide zippers and hide as much of the human form as possible. That's why George Barrows didn't have to wear padding. He was a big guy, but I mean that hair is sort of,
Well, I have this hilarious photo that's on the phone that's being used for filming, but he's in the gorilla outfit in a publicity still, and he's standing like this, and he's just going, like this. But if you look at him in silhouette, he looks like the letter A because the sides of his body go straight down.
Right.
He's only got about a foot above.
I know. It almost looks like he's wearing a fur skirt.
Yeah, it's just like a. And I see because how am I going to make this interesting with the fur? And I go, oh, that's really some luxuriant fur because it kind of comes down to these sweeping S curls and stuff like that. Were they using real fur?
No. The only time I think I know that they used real fur was on
Cowardly Lion, but that's not an A.
It was one of the Tarzan movies. They had a tribe of chimps and those were hide suits. And they stumped to high heaven apparently after the first day of shooting. So most of the time it was a heavy duty material, and the fur was anti-tied in. Sometimes they choose red. If you look at some traditional suits like white pongo suit, and there's another, I can't remember the name of the other white one now, too tired. But he's got like lots of fur knots there, gigantic knots. So he got a little loose there for a while. But most of it's hand tied, mostly on netting, or at least open mesh of some sort. And different guys had different styles of padding. Trash used K-Talk padding in his, so it was a heavy, monstrous heavy, hot suit. Charlie Gamora had his water balloons essentially. And his suit was fairly loose, but I don't know what he did on his earlier stuff. I would think that would be K-Talk as well. He had a real interesting take on his early suits. He basically looks like a butterball.
Yeah.
There's no real definition of the body. No. It's this head, and but he uses it really, really well. His performance is great.
Yeah, his I don't know, his acting in that suit because he had this really cool gait that he had, and just the fact that he had to have practiced in front of a mirror because the George Barrow's gorilla, that thing had the funniest eyes and comedically used as well as menacing because he would do these side glances and that were just brilliant. I saw.
Well, he was an actor normally as well.
Oh yeah, he was in the Batman show.
Yeah, he's probably best known for that.
Yeah.
But he played a heavy in a bunch of westerns as well.
Oh yeah. I saw a clip from Beverly Hillbillies. They send a guy. He's in a gorilla suit. He's supposed to be a real gorilla to scare the clampets to get him to go home or whatever. And the gorilla goes like this, and then he grabs Granny, and they switch to a dummy, and he throws her through the front door, through the woods, smashing, and she's like, oh, Jed, he's like, I don't think they would do that today. Elder abuse. That would be hilarious.
In the event that you're wondering, yes, hanging out with these guys is always like this.
Transfusion of a little bit of Asian. No, that is the man's from Belly. Oh, okay. The Asian where. Are we doing? Oh.
Signing off, Toby Froud, on out.
Proud to be Froud. Another good session, man. Good session. Kevin Gorby. Cheers. Whatever you're drinking. Yeah, man. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching. Curious to see your comments later.
Yeah, I'll probably spend all night going through everything and see what they said.
Fun hanging out with you guys.
It's fun. I'm tired.
My eyes are shot. That was a long session. Good. It was a long session.
Yeah. It is the most bizarre storyline.
Yeah, so right now I'm just working on trying to the symmetry. I got stuck and I kept doing detail on this end. So now I got to start matching.
I was thinking of sculpting the zipper in the back.
But
you wouldn't have seen it though, right?
Yeah, that was a.
Are there any sculptors that can actually do that?
What? Adam says he can.
Really?
Adam Bean. Did you watch his live sculpt?
I don't think I did.
It was on MLK Day, just recently. And he was very much advocating for double-handed sculpting, at least for the, yes.
Toby and I were talking about that, and we were saying that we both can hand sculpt.
No, I can hand symmetric. I can rough everything out.
Right, but detail stuff, no. Yeah. Yeah. I think he was just talking about laying on the foundational layers, double-handed. Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not when you sculpt. When I find myself sculpting like that, I'm kind of looking at it, but I'm also feeling it. Yeah. I think when you sculpt long enough, it's kind of like using a different sensory. You can feel when something's off.
Yeah. Yes. Right. And it's amazing. You'll be looking at your sculpture. You'll be saying, "No, it just feels off. It feels off," and then you go back and maybe you measure it, and it's the difference of a millimeter, but you felt it. Yeah.
I know that's what a lot of artists use, but I don't because I'm not. Some people are just use better techniques, but using a mirror is a
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at if you ever take a picture of something and on your phone you invert it.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Totally different sculpture.
I do that frequently. I'll take pictures. Yeah. Take pictures of what I'm doing.
So if you're going for perfect symmetry, it's a very good tool to use. But if you're going for more like a feel sculpture, it's something you're not worried about the symmetry. Who cares? I think people out there can do that. Hats off to them. Great.
Yeah. But then again, perfect symmetry is not always wanted. Like, perfect symmetry seems wrong to the human eye. Yeah. Right. Interesting. High fives all around. Cobb Cam coming through. We're all signing off.
After it's baked, you can still. This is probably the it's super easy. It's basically a mermaid.
I'll try and make it.
Make it where?
To the Dark River Light meeting next week.
Yeah. Oh, are you busy? Potentially.
Wife has a hula show.
Oh.
To take precedence over.
Wife being Nina Nightshade.
We should do this again in another month. No, I think we should do it again. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah. No, I know she liked it. I said, we'll do the other one. Things are working out for 15 years. Bye,
everybody.
Nice to see you.
See you.
Are we still on?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Are we done?
See you Saturday.
Okay, what time is it?
Okay. All right.
6:08.
Oh, there you go. We're good. How do I stop it?
I have no idea.
Finish.
Oops.